Did you guys know about the Creature Crate Patreon? Every month you'll get amazing files that you can make, like this Donkey Kong, this dragon, this robot tech scarab, this Cerberus, or this super cool set of Bulbasaurs. You can also sell the prints from these files as an authorized seller. Join the Creature Crate Patreon now. Link is in the description below. Hey guys, what's up? Nico again here. And in this 3D Printed Profits episode, I have with us Kieran. Kieran, where are you coming from, man?
England.
England, all the way in the UK. So Kieran is going to talk to us about his business and how he makes money using his 3D printers. It looks like he has a whole bunch back there. And so we're just going to do a deep dive in how he does it, how he got started, so on and so forth. And make sure you guys check out all his links. All of those are going to be in the description below if you're on YouTube. And if you're in your favorite podcast player, it's going to be in the show notes. Also, be sure you guys follow us in the 3D Printing Side Hustle group. Also on the on Facebook, and the description of that's in the description below. I can talk, I promise. And lastly, stay till the very end where I'm going to give you your own product idea so you can start your own 3D printing side business. So let's start the show. Kieran, welcome to the show, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So tell me more about yourself, man. What's your background and how'd you get started in 3D printing?
So actually, as my day job, I'm a support worker. I work with adults with learning disabilities. But I've always had a passion for like board games and stuff. I started playing Warhammer when I was like 12 and sort of picked it up on and off over the years. And then about 5 years ago, I decided that I wanted to start doing a bit more again. And then, I started DMing like Dungeon Master for a bunch of my friends playing like Dungeons and Dragons and stuff. And I couldn't find any of the models that I wanted. And then it basically started from there. I started designing what I wanted really. And then other people took an interest in it. And before I knew it, it was more than just a hobby designing these miniatures. It started becoming a business, and it just kind of snowballed from there.
And it grew pretty fast, huh?
Yeah. So we've officially been trading now for coming up for 2 years in November.
2 years in November. Congratulations, man. Congratulations.
Over the first hurdle, the early days.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I remember when I was in business. When Nico Industries turned 2, 3, 4, Nico Industries is turning 5 this year. It's a milestone, man. It gets you all warm and fuzzy.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So how much money are you guys making a month profit in the business?
So that's obviously a variable, but on an average month, anywhere from £1,000 to £2,000 a month.
£1,000 to £2,000 a month. That's pretty good, man.
Yeah, that's our average over the last sort of 18 months. Obviously, the first few months was a little bit slower. Obviously, building up traction and developing a catalog and stuff. So,
as a side hustle, $1,000 to $2,000 a month is solid income.
Yeah, no. And that's pounds as well, not dollars. That's sterling. So
I think as of today, the pound and the dollar are 1-to-1.
They're not far. Yeah, they're not far off, I don't believe.
I'm pretty sure it's 1-to-1 for the first time in like 50 years, something like that. I was following some financial news. So let's go back to the beginning stages, man. How did you get your first customers? How did that go?
So it started out, I was designing a bunch of terrain and stuff for myself, and literally like I was carving XPS foam, so I had like a prox on, and I was like milling down individual bricks, and it was quite tedious. And then I saw obviously a bunch of this information about 3D printers becoming more accessible and easy to get hold of. So I literally got one for my birthday. Like, it was an original Photon. It was nothing fancy. Like a £150 machine. And then I was like, I'm going to use that and start printing some bits to make my life easier. And then before I realized it, all my friends were like, oh, can you print this for me? Can you print this for me? And it got to the point I hadn't even used the printer really for myself. Within the first sort of 4 weeks of having it, I started charging people like a couple of quid, like for a model. So not a lot, but just enough to cover my resin cost and my time. And before I realized that I had enough to buy a second one. So the plan was then I was like, oh, I'm going to buy a second printer.
For you?
Use one for me. Yeah, one for me and one for them. And before I realized it, that was in use. And then I was like, oh man, this is crazy. So I got rid of them too and got 2 of the monos, which are obviously a lot superior and faster. And they obviously print in, well, a third of the time each run. And then again, it just started snowballing. And then obviously designed my first miniature. I took a bunch of like courses and stuff online and watched a bunch of how-tos on YouTube, like tutorials. And then before I realized it, me and my friend, we joined together and we started running a Patreon. And we ran that for about 3 months. It got to an okay point, but he had to unfortunately leave because his missus was like, "You need to get a real job." So so she made him give that up. So eventually, I couldn't run the Patreon on my own and deliver the number
So
of
for that
STL.
Patreon, was that selling digital assets or was that?
Yeah, digital STL files
Okay.
monthly. Yeah, so we was providing about 12 to 15 STLs a month.
Oh, that's a lot.
Yeah, we was going hard, and we built up to nearly 70 subscribers in the first 2 months. It was
How many?
going
17?
like 70.
70. Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, it was going really well. But obviously, unfortunately, when my friend Alvaro he had to stop, it kind of left me high and dry. So unfortunately, I had to disband the Patreon. But then obviously, I went back to just designing casually and doing custom commissions for people. And then I did a couple of Kickstarters. So my first Kickstarter it made me like, I think it was like I expanded on one of the first releases from my Patreon month, which is a jungles theme, like lizard folk and giant monsters and stuff. And that did quite well for me. It made nearly £3,000.
Wow.
Obviously, there was no real outlay for that. Obviously, the only like test prints, and I did have a couple of guest sculptors come in and just do some bits that I couldn't quite finish on my own. But that did really well. So obviously since then I've ran a number of Kickstarters, and I've also got a second business now, who also do digital sales, and they do physical models, but they cast them. So we do the masters, and then they go off and they get like RTV silicon molds made of the models and cast and stuff. So yeah, so that's another sideline income as well. And obviously
That's awesome,
I do
man. Look at you.
I do all the design for them as well, but through Modular World, so they kind of invoice me. And
Are you sleeping?
am I sleeping? Yeah, not so much. Like I've got
I
two
wouldn't
kids.
think so. Running all that, my gosh.
Yeah, I've got 2 young kids as well. So it keeps me pretty.
Gotcha. All right. So that's what happened next, right? You started to grow. Now you're on your second business. What does your print farm look like? I can see it from here, but since we are on a podcast, right? Tell us about your print farm right now.
So currently, obviously, I mean, I'm sure you can probably.
I can see that you have 8. So tell me more about those.
I have 8 obviously SLA printers here, and then my friend, he runs the FDM side of it for me, and he has 3 Anycubic Pro V2s, and then basically whenever I get any jobs that require like FDM printing, or my products that need FDM printing, I sort of pay him, he produces them, and then obviously I then can take them to retail, etc.
Gotcha.
So, yeah. So
and those. So what kind of Anycubics are those?
So yeah. So I have 4 Anycubic monos and 4 Anycubic mono X's currently.
Monos and mono X's. Okay.
Yeah, I'm in the process of looking to upgrade to newer machines, but I've been investing in a few other assets and a few other avenues of recently. So from the original. So bear with me 2 moments.
This meeting is being recorded.
Good.
Sorry. Yeah. So I've now like developed obviously full packaging and stuff for all my miniatures and stuff now. So obviously there was a lot of
is that a local packing company that you guys found?
No. So actually the clamshells actually are imported from the USA, but I buy them in such bulk that obviously.
Okay. So you buy the packaging yourself.
Yeah, and then obviously
you're packaging these yourself then.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, so we do everything from obviously the design, the printing, the cleanup, the curing, quality checking.
And this is a side hustle?
The dream is to bring it into being a full-time hustle.
It's okay. It sounds like you already have a full-time operation.
It's getting there. It's getting there for sure.
It's getting there pretty dang quick, my friend.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like I say, it started off. I quickly realized that this was more than beer money, if you know what I mean. So.
I agree.
Yeah, And like I say, so, and also I've spent like lots of money on like, so I've got another storeroom separate to the workshop here, where I've just spent a couple of £1,000 on racking and stuff. And obviously I've started doing conventions this year as well. So I've been
You guys
going
aren't
and
even doing
hitting,
conventions yet. My God.
yeah.
So do you own the building or is this like in a garage?
So essentially this is a 24-foot by 12-foot shed that's been constructed in my parents' back garden.
Wow. Hey, listen, you guys, that is how you start. You don't
Mhm.
go out looking for buildings, buying 50 machines. No, that's not how this goes. You have to start small and you scale up. All right.
Mhm.
Don't do this stuff where you're like, I'm going to start this business. I'm going to buy 8 machines and all. Don't do that. Start small, work your way up.
Yeah.
So that's cool, man. So what profit margin are you guys targeting as far as the physical prints go?
So what the markup per model, for example?
Yeah, what's the profit margin you guys
Oh,
are looking for?
yeah. You're talking thousands of percent.
Attaboy.
Yeah, thousands. Like, I mean, really. So this model I have here, for example, is one of our best sellers. So it's like a Space Marine styled miniature.
Sure.
And for example, so the markup on him, he cost me, I think, 32p to produce, 60p to package, and I'm selling him for £14 boxed.
Attaboy.
Yeah. So yeah, and like I say, and he sells all day on Etsy and at conventions, and people just messaging me through Facebook.
Attaboy. Good for you, man. So have you tried other ways to increase your sales? Like
Yeah. So
Facebook ads, Etsy ads, free packaging?
yeah, yeah, absolutely. So we're obviously just in the process of updating our web store. We've just gotten for a new provider, and we're just doing a brand new web store and stuff. And obviously, once that's all finished and ready to go, I'll be hitting a really hard sort of aggressive marketing campaign targeting all the people in the demographic, such as the age and criteria of interests of miniatures, Warhammer, etc. All those sort of interests obviously will be sort of hit with it on social media platforms. Also, I've got a friend who's been nagging me to explore the TikTok avenue. I mean,
I
I
can't get into TikTok either, man. I tried
can't.
several times.
I know. I'm a bit. It's a bit beyond my thing, but apparently she reckons it's crazy for her and her friends and stuff that they make.
I need to hire someone for TikTok, dude.
Yeah, we
I'll
all
have
need
to
a
hire
social
someone.
media.
I can't do it. I don't know how to.
Hmm.
It's beyond me. So do you
Yeah.
sell? So you sell on Etsy? You mentioned. Do you have your own website as well, or is it all?
Yeah, that's just literally in the process of an overhaul. We took down the old one and we're just repopulating the brand new one. And then obviously I'm hoping by the end of this month it should be up and running. But it could be
Gotcha.
a little bit longer.
I mean,
Like I said, I just
anything
want to
with
make sure
tech and web development, it's always twice the amount
yeah,
of time that you expected.
yeah, no,
Um,
for sure.
and so from your old website versus Etsy, what's selling more, the website or Etsy?
I'll be honest. So most of our sales obviously come because we've done 2 conventions this year. Obviously, we've got another one booked in August and another one booked in September, and that'll be it for this year. But obviously, at the conventions, obviously that's a huge seller for us. Obviously, we sold out of so many products and stuff there, stuff that I didn't think would even be as popular as it was. But I didn't take enough
You'll
stock. And I
never
took
know, dude.
no, yeah, exactly. It's trial and error. It's all learning. But I think I get more requests through Facebook than I do through Etsy at the moment. But it's growing. I mean, Etsy is now trickling through, so 1 to 2 orders a day, which is obviously at the markups and the profit margins that we have. Obviously, it's okay. But
Yeah,
obviously,
because
we do
Etsy takes a
custom,
big chunk, man.
yeah, no, for sure. But we also do custom designs. So obviously, so there's a couple of us now that are on the design team. But we do custom designs for people like all week long,
Yeah. So tell me
there's
more
like
about that. How else does the business make money? Do you get so you have design? It obviously so you have design services, right?
yes.
And so they design their own miniatures and then you print it for them, or do you just get the design and they print it themselves?
Well, that's totally negotiable with obviously we got a couple of different ranges. So obviously it goes from anything from you just provide us with a sketch of what you're kind of after or some reference pictures, and then we can either provide a proper solid concept sketch and we can bounce back and forth before we start sculpting, or we can go straight to it and we can design your digital STL from the ground
Okay.
up for you.
And
And then
are
depending
you
on whether,
doing these designs?
not just me. So there's 3 of us now, and a 4th is kind of coming into being full time as well with me.
Okay. And what software are you guys using?
We all use ZBrush, but we also use a couple of other programs and stuff like Blender and stuff, because Blender's quite good for some non-organic shapes and stuff, such as vehicles and stuff like that. But ZBrush is the industry standard. I swear by it.
Gotcha. Dude, that's so cool, man. You guys are you're doing great things. Big congrats to, the income. So what's next for you guys? What's the future hold for the business? What are you guys gonna do?
Yeah. So the eventual goal is to move away from mass producing via the 3D printers. Obviously, I will still keep some machines and stuff for doing masters, but obviously I'm looking at getting a Cyocast.
I'm sorry?
It's like a Cyocast.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's like a £40,000 machine, but it basically does injection molding, but hella quick.
So it cuts down. How long does that cut the time for product?
Oh, so if you made a standard sort of like 6-inch by 6-inch mold, you could, and it was full of, say, just standardized 28 millimeter, I can't speak now, 28 millimeter miniatures, you can produce them in minutes.
Minutes.
Once your mold's produced, yeah, minutes.
I mean, and you can make negatives all day long because of the machine.
Yeah, exactly. And the cost of the molds is pennies. Like compared to RTV silicon, which is what we use now, it's going to change the game completely.
Congratulations. You guys are doing fantastic things. And it sounds like you have a good head on your shoulders to take the company in the right direction, man. So congrats to you guys. So Kieran, that's all for me, man. I don't have any other questions. So let's wrap this up with your number one tip for anyone who wants to start their own 3D printing business.
Yeah, my recommendation would be just go for it. I think literally don't procrastinate and don't hold back. If you've got an idea and you think it's got legs, then just start. It's easier than ever now to get out there. So yeah, that's basically it.
There you go, you guys. So Kieran, thank you for being here, man. We really appreciate it. So
No,
I told you guys, if you stay till the very, very end, I'll give you your own product idea so you guys can start your own 3D printing business. And today's product idea is going to be band merch. Yes, I know, like, what the hell is band merch? Look, you guys, you have local bands around your city, local neighborhoods. I promise you do. And when people come to go see them, they have merch that they want to sell. What you guys can do is you can create very unique, very custom designs specifically for that band. Maybe it's their logo, maybe it's their head, whatever, maybe their mascot. And what you guys can do is you can 3D print a whole bunch of these things. And because they're merch and they're like little tiny things, you can print a lot of them and charge more. Sometimes they'll order in quantities of 100, 3, 4, 500. The bigger the band, the more popular they are, the more you can charge, and the more products you're going to be able to sell. So take that with you. That's your product idea. Again, if you guys need help building, starting, and scaling your own 3D printing side business, message me and I'll help you. I'll hold your hand. We'll go through the entire thing from product selection to your first sale. Kieran, thank you for being here, man. Big congrats to you guys. I'll check in on you guys in about a year, and hopefully you guys can show me that nice casting machine. And dude, let's do it, man. Congratulations.
No worries. Thank you very much for having me. Take care.
Later, man.